Welcome back to PM with the Trigger. Rich Bontrager back with you once again. Always here to help you shine on camera, shine on stage, and so you can elevate you and your brand authority. And we help the executive leader learn how to do that better and better because communication in the executive world is so important. And now you're on camera. Today, we're going to talk a little bit more about the executive presence. We're going to talk more about the way of using your voice in that executive leadership role. Now, this applies to everybody because we all need to learn how to do this better, but it's a little bit of a slant because sometimes when we come to executive presence, we think it's about the jacket, the slick hair. We think it's about walking the room and just having that power and that authority, when in fact, that all gets wrapped up into what comes out of your mouth. How you communicate, how you come alive is so important. So we're going to spend a little time here today for the next 10, 15 minutes and just simply talk about 3 ways that we can help you elevate your voice and help elevate your leadership skills because of how you now leverage your voice. Last night I was on an interview working with a gentleman in Australia. Part of our conversation got into how does using your voice elevate your leadership. Was a great part of our interview last night. So I thought I'd pick up on that because people don't always realize how much your voice either draws people in or truthfully repels people. There are leaders that have great ideas, great concepts, but the truth is they repel people because they don't know how to communicate and lead with their voice. They think about those other things I mentioned, but they don't think about their voice. So I'm going to give you 3 ways to effectively communicate better and show off your skills better and better. So 3 ways to do that. Now, one is talked about a lot. It's revealed a lot, but we do want to talk about that breathing. It's so hard to do when you're amped up, when you're excited, when you're going to share something, and then you realize, oh my goodness, I haven't breathed for the last 3 minutes and I'm into a keynote. And when you don't breathe, it shows in your face. You begin to sweat. The pace of your voice, which we're going to talk about, also gets impacted by this. But part of that executive presence, part of communicating, because communication is the heart of leadership. No matter what anyone else tells you, the heart of leadership is going to be communication. You need to learn how to steer the ship, lead your troops, rally them, get them to invest, and it's through your voice. Deep, controlled breaths. It enhances the vocals. It adds more clarity to what you're saying. You don't clip your words. You don't have that. You're going up higher because you're not breathing. It's not going to appeal people. It's not going to draw them to you. Executives should practice how their diaphragm is helping them breathe to maintain steady airflow. And at the same time, don't make it look like you're trying to. That's not going to help you either. You want to learn how this is natural and it's a part of your conversation. It will really raise your ability. And it's all going to give you that sense of I'm in control, which is what leadership needs to demonstrate. Showing that you have control, that you're leading clearly is so important. Learn how to take that breath. Learn how to get that control. Part of that is, and again, last night during the interview, the gentleman was very surprised. My number 1 tip that I give all speakers, if you're giving that keynote, if you're standing at the podium, or if you've been invited to do a talk where you are the main focus, stand up. I talked about it last night, and he was like, wow, I never thought about the difference of the voice, the diaphragm, the physicality, everything that comes into it. So if you're struggling with the whole breathing thing when it comes to presenting as an executive leader, stand up. Even if it's in your small teams, stand up. Even if you're on a Zoom call, stand up. It will help your breathing because you're not all bunched up like a little ball and not able to get it out of you. So that's tip number 1, work on your breathing. Now, this is one that maybe you haven't heard too much about, but you need to vary your pitch and your tone. Change how you sound. Mastering the art of using this draws people in. Learning to vary the pitch, it adds a dynamic. People can feel your energy, they can feel your passion, they can feel your emotion when you learn how to ride the roller coaster and go up and down with your pitch. Now, don't make it sound cartoony unless you're trying to be funny and do something like that. But you do want to use that pitch to have people go, wow, I really admire what they're saying. I get it. I hear it. And when you change your pitch, people often feel it more. Because if you're coming off as just a narrator, if you're just someone, it's that monotone, you're coming right across, it's so controlled that it's boring. A lot of the AI things right now that we are hearing about, AI is doing a lot of that very monotone, straight control. The human spirit comes through, your excitement comes through, and your pitch changes. Many top tier leaders, they know exactly because they practice, they've rehearsed, they know their script. The best keynote speakers, they know this inside and out. Changing your pitch changes the flow of the story. And lets people know so much when you do this. Also, change number 3 here. We're going to go into step number 3 now because we're going to put them all together in a very powerful way here. Step number 3 is pause, like I just did, and pacing. You want to be excited. You want to show that you're passionate. And speed rate shows some of that. The speed that you're talking will get people excited. Or vice versa, it will turn them off because they don't hear you, they don't understand you, and it's like, really? I came to pay for this? You rallied the troops for this? So you need to clearly enunciate. You need to pause and use the silence. Allow people to catch up with your ideas. Again, this shows that you are fully in control, especially if you're taking questions and answers. Last week, we talked a little bit about communication in crisis times. This is a great way to control the crisis situation. Pause, pace. Because the faster you go, that you want to get away from the podium, you want to get away from the questions during the crisis as an executive leader, all it's communicating is, I want out of here, I'm scared to death, and it's bad. But if you can get up there and pause and pace yourself, save that calm, cool, collect composure we talked about last week, they're going to go, wow, I get them. And again, they will understand what you're saying and why you're saying it. It will communicate that I can trust this person. They know what they're talking about. They're an expert in your field. Again, if you're an expert, a go-to expert, you need to learn these very same things to communicate for your brand, for your message, the products you're selling. Salespeople, if you're on calls, you want to make a great connection with your people, breathe. Don't go through that read that you do every day, multiple times. We've all heard it on the phone calls. You get it, and they read their telecom script right to you. And you can tell they're reading this for the umpteenth time, and they don't care about the words. There's no voice inflection. There's no pitch dynamic to what they're reading. They are reading it because they have to read it. And they don't pause. They don't pace themselves. They literally fly through this as fast as they can to get to the buy, the click, and get off the call. They're only after the commission. They're not after really communicating. Jan's joining us right now, and Jan's catching up on the breathing. Maybe she took a long breath. Maybe before she jumped into here today, she was like, oh, I need to breathe before I join Trigger at 2 p.m. live. Great to see you here today, Jan. So all these things really do wrap together to give a great executive leadership. And there's more. I've got a bunch of tips here that I'd love to talk with you about, share with you. This is what we coach and teach at Rock the Stage Media. Enhancing voice skills. It isn't just about the sound more authoritative. There's a lot of people that work on that. And usually when they want to sound more authoritative, they talk louder and they yell louder and they overexpress everything. You know the type of people I'm talking about. That's not executive leadership communication either. Trying to sound like you have more authority doesn't mean you have the authority. Learning to use your voice will open more people up to you, and you will naturally have it. Jan, it's hard to keep up if you don't take those breaths. You're absolutely right. Passing out on the floor during 2 p.m. lives are not fun. I do not recommend it. Keep up. That's why we also do the replays. Remember, we always do the replays. But this idea, it's about your enhancing your voice and being a leader. It's about building a strong connection with your team members. It's about fostering trust, inspiring your call to action. As leaders, refine your voice skills. As we do this, you elevate your communication, and consequently, here's what's going to happen. Your leadership impact is going to go up. People will really want to hear from you more and more. I have seen this played out where people who were desperate to be leaders, that have wanted to be leaders, got the coaching, took the time, better prepared themselves, and they went from, oh, not them again, to eventually, yeah, we came here today because we need to hear from you. We trust you. And the authentic nature of learning how to do this only comes through professional coaching. People do not accidentally move up this ladder and find themselves as a great speaker, a great leader. It takes time, it takes training. All the great speakers have done this. They've got coaches, and that's why we're out here doing what we love to do. It is a journey to becoming a more effective communicator. Leaders, hone your skills. Do not take it for granted. Listen to the feedback that you are getting from your organization. Hey, we don't understand you when you talk. Did you know you talk too fast? Do you know you're very boring and monotone? The information you're giving sounds important, but I took a nap 3 minutes into it. If you're hearing those type of comments, go back and begin to review these 3 simple steps to begin your journey. Breathe. And make sure the airflow, the diaphragm, the body is under control. Many speakers get the shakes. They get up there and they naturally start shaking. One of the big reasons is they're not breathing. If you get the shakes, if you begin to have this pop up, pause. Just like we're talking about. Right on time, Jan. There you go. If you're getting a little nervous shakes and you know the breathing's not going well, pause, reset the pacing. Out of my sports work and play-by-play days, we always try to keep up with the game. We always try to keep up with the action of the game. TV is far less talk about the action. They talk about many other things. Radio, you're trying to paint the picture of what's going on. One of the things we learned in radio was very few people are watching the game while you're doing radio play-by-play. I can run behind the action. It helps with my clarity of your communication. I can have the crowd cheering in the background when I say score, and they actually scored 2 seconds or 3 seconds ago. By learning how to communicate, the fans love you more, and that's what you want. As an executive leader, learning these 3 things will really, really help you. Hey, if you want to learn more about this, if you want to get inside tips and tricks, let's get a consultation call on the books for you. Absolutely no charge. Hit the QR code, and I can share some more of these amazing tips that are going to help you grow your brand. You're going to grow as a leader and influencer. You're going to do better on your live streams like we do here. You're going to do better on your interview sessions, and so much more when you start to learn the way to better communicate, maintain composure, and what ultimately happens, you have the crowd in the palm of your hand. You literally have them wanting more and trusting you more, and the impact will go up and up and up. Hit the QR code. Let's book a call. Let's get you on, and let's talk about how we can help you. Once again, every day, shine on camera, shine on stage to elevate you and your brand authority. Media skills. That's what we're all about here at Rock the Stage. And I'd love to talk with you about how we can help you grow your media skills and also help you build that media empire to reach more people with what you do. Hey, that's going to do it for the day. I'm the Trigger, Rich Bontrager. I'd love to hear from you. Rich@richbontrager.net. Find me on LinkedIn. Find me on Facebook. Let's connect there as well. Hey, until tomorrow, I'm the Trigger, Rich Bontrager. We'll see you back here, 2 p.m. Eastern Time, 2 p.m. live.